Fuck it, bro.
Please tell me you're blacklighting it, or did your sensor go bad?
Welcome everybody to the pod. I don't know, bro. If I unplug it, it'll fix itself. But like, it's kind of cool.
Kind of cool. That's
cool.
that you know, if KRIS was on, he'd be shitting on you for that sensor. I got my 4K. You look like a bad acid trip right now.
This is gonna be me, 28th, the night of the night.
Right,
of,
basically the
it's gonna be me after those 5 Jack Daniel
after
Henny.
2 absinthe drinks.
This is gonna be off sniffing alcohol. I haven't drank alcohol in like years, bro. I'm gonna take a sniff. I'll be like, ooh, getting kind of tipsy.
Yeah, I went out. I had a drink last night, and it hit me hard. I mean, I probably went 2 days without sleeping. I just couldn't sleep. So I went out.
Hold on. You went 2 days without sleeping?
Yeah.
Dude, that's not like no. Hold on. I used to do that in high school and in college to a little extent. I've tried doing that. Now,
yeah,
I literally will collapse, bro. Like, it's not possible to even go 1 day. So I don't understand how you're going 48 hours at your age.
What do you mean at my age? I probably handle it better than you.
No. I know that, but that's what I'm saying. I don't get how you're handling it better than me at 25. I would like legitimately die at this point. I could probably do it if I needed to, but I would die.
That's the thing when you need to. Like, I kind of trained myself to do that. Look, I had my own business when I was like 21 years old. If I didn't go to work, I couldn't pay my bills. I couldn't eat. I had no plan B. That'll keep you awake, man.
No, I get it. And I've been there too, but I'm getting to the point where like, I'd rather sleep and just wake up early. You know me, I'm waking up at 3, 4 a.m. every day. I can handle that, but staying awake for 48 hours is like,
it wasn't by choice. You see, that's his 4. I was just saying, when KRIS comes on, he's gonna give you shit for that 4K sensor of yours. That's so amazing.
I feel like I should just do the pod like this for the rest of the.
That is interpretation of the markets today.
If what do you call it? If we didn't get demonetized, I played that song. Remember from back in the day, Blue?
Which one? Oh, the only one song I know, Blue, is from Perfect Circle, which is
hold on 1 second.
Different.
We're gonna demonetize it. Blue. I'm trying to remember what Blue. I've heard of a sad song called Blue. I think
it's from Eiffel 65. Blue. Never heard of that song?
No.
Hold on 1 second.
This is
music. Hold on.
Carl, I don't get sleeping.
I'll just play a snippet of it.
I don't get it, bro.
Yo, listen up. Here's the story.
Oh yeah. La da dee da dee da da dee da. Yeah. Now we're demonetized. So fuck it. Everybody, put a song in the chat, and we'll just play it. Make a dance party. Fuck it.
Should I go back to normal, or should I keep it like this for the whole?
I think just leave it that way.
Wait, what happened to what? Why are you blue?
I don't know. I plugged in the camera and it's blue. Like, if I unplug it, it'll be... All right, I'll fix it right now.
No, he's in the metaverse. This is like kind of goes with the theme of the channel of the episode.
Yeah, it is old song, Jay Santiago. Guys, did you guys see that girl on I guess on YouTube or TikTok or whatever? Now she's like famous because she's like trending right now. The world.
I'm gonna play it right now. I'll play the video. I'll play the
gang.
Oh, Salman knows exactly what I'm talking about.
No, not the gang. No, KRIS, you're talking about the video you posted today, right?
Yeah.
The one crying about
the commuting.
Yeah, that actually pertains to like Meta's earnings. I'll show you how that pertains.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
So dramatic and annoying, but this is my first job, like my first 9-to-5 job after college, and I'm in person and I'm commuting in the city, and it takes me fucking forever to get there. There's no way I'm gonna be able to afford living in the city right now, so that's off the table. Like, fucking duh, if I was able to walk to work and it'd be fine, but I'm not. So it literally takes me, like, I leave here at like, I get on the train at 7:30 and I don't get home till like 6:15 earliest, and then like I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep. I don't have time or energy to cook my dinner either. Like, I don't have energy to work out. Like, that's out the window. Like, I'm so upset. Oh my God. Nothing to do with my job at all, but just like the 9-to-5 schedule in general is crazy. Being in the office 9 to 5, like if it was remote, you get off at 5 and you're home and everything's fine. But like, I'm not home. It takes me long to get home, and like people that drive to the office, like you don't get off at 5. And I know it could be worse. I know I could be working longer, but like I literally get off, it's pitch black. Like, I don't have energy. How do you have friends? Like, how do you have time to like meet?
How do you have time to do a podcast?
I don't know. Like, I have time for like dating. Like, I don't have time for anything, and I'm like so stressed out. And I'm also getting my period, so that's why I'm all emotional. But like, am I so dramatic? It's fine.
Half the guys
Dude.
in the chat are like, would.
Bro, like,
said,
go ahead, Chris.
no, I was gonna say this. If my grandfather saw this, he'd be like, "What the hell, man?"
Dude, even if our parents saw it,
yeah,
like, it's no.
I'll tell you, my father-in-law and mother-in-law, okay, they even to a certain degree, my parents, they woke up early ass butt crack in the morning every single day, and they closed the store. They started the store around 8-9 o'clock. They drive to work. They're both there together, worked all day until closing, which was almost like 11 o'clock at night sometimes. And then after that, they would go home, eat some dinner, and then go to sleep. And they did that 7 days a week. The only time that they actually had some time off was like Sunday in the afternoon. That was it. Other than that, work. And the thing is, they didn't complain. They were like, look, I have kids, I have responsibilities, I need to do what I need to do. This is the life that I've chosen. She has clearly chosen that life. She's chosen, hey, I'm going to work in New York City. I'm guessing that when she says the city, she probably meant New York City. She probably lives in Jersey somewhere because the accent sounds like a Jersey accent, and the commute times make sense. So my guess is she probably lives in somewhere in suburban Jersey, has to travel using the PATH train to get into the city to do her job, and then has to come back. And she gets home at what, like 6, 7? And she's like, oh my God.
I get out at 5. I get out at 5.
Like,
I get home at 6:15, but to be there at 9, I have to leave like it's.
Dude, I got home at 11 p.m. for the past 2 years before I, started my own thing. Like, I don't know, man. It's people. Why do you think this generation feels like that? Do you think they don't love the process of working and like they don't accept the responsibility, or you think they're just entitled?
I think the society is basically they're living the YouTube life and they're living the Instagram life where they just see everyone having a great time, but they never see because that's not fun to see. People don't want to see like people hustling and working their asses off. Like no one gives credit to that. Everyone's always like, oh my God, look at me, I'm in Dubai. Do you know how many people she had to get pissed on in order to get to that trip in Dubai? Right. Well, sorry, I had to add that.
I just got it. I was like, yeah, it's fair.
I'm glad you said it because that's kind of where I was going. That's what social media has done to an entire generation of people. And that's just the one who's like posting online. Forget about the ones that are sitting home depressed as to what they're seeing. But when you talk social media, what are you talking right now? You're talking Facebook, you're talking Instagram. What else? Like maybe, okay, TikTok, but that's the Chinese and we know what they want to do to us. So your boy Mark, your boy Meta, who did really well today in advertising. There's the payback, and that's a sliver of the payback. And we're still the dominant generation, like like my generation, KRIS generation. We're still the dominant. Wait till the torch gets passed to you guys. AMIT, like the 25-year-olds, the 26-year-olds. When you see these damaged 18-year-olds entitled, that's what. If you click that girl's video, depending on where you click it, there's a ton of like not only response videos about people saying that I'm experiencing the same thing, and it's just utterly ridiculous. Even people from my generation would be like, what are you talking about? We knew that school was the easiest it was going to get. Yeah. When we were in college, we were like, oh, this is the easiest it's going to get. We're going to enjoy this now because it's about to get really hard to like see people. It's about to get really hard for all of us to get together. We knew that when we were in the dorms, we were like, oh, this is the best it's going to get. When are you ever going to live on the same floor with like all your best friends having the same schedule without any real responsibilities, making movies? Come on.
And see, bro, and here's the thing, right? So like I work from home, I have my startup, I do YouTube. Before I did that, when I got to the point by 2022, I could do that. From 2019 to 2022, I drove 60 miles up and down New Jersey, all the way to Bergen County. KRIS knows what I'm talking about, near Hoboken, back down to Central Jersey, 5 days a week, every single week, or sorry, 6 days a week. I got Sunday off every single week. Being able to save up money and then do my own thing. And
you're trying to tell me that people didn't want to buy drugs right around your local area where you lived? You had to go all the way out there?
Bro, at some point in college, when I started making money off the debate coaching, if some of you guys know my past, my mom literally was like, are you selling drugs? I'm like, no, I'm teaching people how to speak. She's like, who's giving you $100?
Are you using those skills on me now?
Like, yeah, it's just, but the thing is, but I started YouTube November 2021, right? And so I made one video, started popping off. I was like, oh, hold on. This is like the opportunity of a lifetime, because then people don't know the 10 years I tried to make content from 2010 to 2020 and utterly failed at any type of
your
content.
Channel after VITALY and
I didn't. Oh, you started in 2020? You started in freelance? Yeah, I started after. I started November
2020. Oh, shit's easy.
The thing was November 2021. I was still doing that drive every single day, 6 days a week, but the YouTube channel was working. So I would come home at 11 p.m., make the videos till 2 a.m., get to the job, try to sneak in making a thumbnail while the boss wasn't looking, get all that shit right, and just do it over and over and over again until. And I love that process. I was like, fuck, I'm making money at the job. I'm building this YouTube thing. I'm starting to like do what I need to do to get my startup going. Like, just I was in the process. I feel like this generation, my generation, they don't love the process.
Bring up
like
bring up Tata Dinma's comment 410.
Don't knock the girl to reality.
It's not that they don't love the process. It's that they don't feel like they should have to do it. Don't knock the girl. It's her reality. The reality that she's living in right now that's a reality that's
fake.
An illusion that she's
Fucking
been
fake.
sold by her social media companies that are telling her they're sending this to her in her feed, and they're amplifying this incorrect belief of how the world actually works. And now when these kids are thrown out in the real world and they have actual responsibilities put on them, they feel entitled. And it's completely you have to ask yourself, who's responsible for that? Like, where are her parents telling her, hey, that's not how life actually works?
And that's the thing. That's
you know what I mean? Like,
my parents taught me work ethic. My dad gets up every day at 4:30 a.m. And whenever I think of getting lazy, yes, bro, because my dad made a lot of bad financial decisions in his 40s and 50s. Like, he had liquor stores like Chris's family. We ended up not getting the money we deserve for those liquor stores. He just made bad decisions because he's very indecisive as a human being. And now he told me in the car we were driving the other day, he's like, bro, I don't want you to suffer like I'm suffering now. And he was like, I should be retired at 62 right now, and I should have a couple $1 million. And I literally just fucked up the past 20 years. And he acknowledges that. And but so he has to wake up every day at 4 a.m. and get to work. And so it's one of those things where when I even think of getting lazy, I'm like, how could you even think of that? And it's like, I think people like that, they don't think of how much work goes into the generation. They fucking immigrated from India to even get us here. No one wants to remember that stuff. That's like, oh, forget it. Doesn't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to be an
the other thing is, when it comes down to it, I think even our generation, Carlos, we had the same complaints, but maybe not just, it wasn't as magnified. She'll get with the program. I think like 6 months into the job, she'll get with the program. She'll realize that, you know what, humans, we're adaptable people. Americans in general, we are adaptable as hell. So yes, she's complaining right now. She's on her periods. It probably makes her really emotional. Once she finds some friends at work that she can go hang out with after work and go to the gym with, because that's what I did. I used to go to work and then I went to the gym. I met a couple of people and then they became my gym buddies. And then we would just hang out, go to the gym. And then I met my friend PJ at work. He was like, yo, I'm hosting at I'm hosted as a DJ and a bartender at a bar in the city. And then I hung out with them over, on like Friday nights. So then you ended up living for the weekend. And then once the weekend came around, you set up like multiple dates. It's like, hey, I could do this. So her complaints right now, I think, are very like myopic in that she just started working and she just feels like it sucks for her right now. But that's what humans always do. Like, initially, when you get thrown into this really bad equation, it sucks, but you get over it. And then within 6 months, within 6 months, you figure it out. Like, dude, I was flying back and forth between New York and Atlanta to make my marriage and relationship work. Like, just imagine that. And I eventually got used to it. It became a process. And so some people would ask me after a year of doing it, Chris, how do you do it? And I'm like, dude, if I was the only one, it'd be something. But I see people on my flight, like regular people. There was like 4 people. We used to fly all the time, the same schedule, like back and forth. So we became friends.
Have you ever seen the movie Up in the Air with George Clooney?
Yeah, I've seen that.
You're literally living. Well, you were living that.
I were living that life. Yeah. I mean, and that's what people have to do. Did I expect to meet my wife and say, you know what, I fell in love with a girl from Atlanta, and you know what, I don't want to raise my family in New York City, so I'm gonna make this this transition happen. But also at the same time, I really like working with my coworkers and my job. So how am I gonna make this all work? Well, I figured it out. That's what people do. That's what humans do. We figure shit out. And I think this girl, for all the crap that she's getting right now, within 6 months, she'll be a normal member of society again. And
she'll be she'll probably on a drone. Yeah. She'll be they'll erase that. They'll reprogram her.
Exactly.
Let's transition to this. Speaking of figuring it out, we thought ZUCKS had figured it out today. Stock ran up to 312, up, I think it was 5-6%. Now it's down 10% after hours. 7% in total for the day, but it is down aggressively. It seems kind of unwarranted given Meta brought in $34 billion of revenue.
Wait, one second. I do want to apologize, Karen. I will try to do my best not to cuss, because I know that one of the things that I grew up in New York City in Brooklyn, which makes me having a potty mouth to begin with. And then I was in the military, which made it probably even worse. But it's definitely something that just not only for like content creation, but just as a normal person in society, we should probably be a little bit more polite. So I apologize for that, and I'll do better about trying not to cuss.
You are you're creating a lot of revenue in the swear jars all across our viewers right now.
So
Yeah.
instead of saying Zucks effed up the market, he zucked up the market. Since we're using these new words now.
Nice save.
I mean, I don't know how we can explain this. They beat on revenue, they beat on EPS. They grew 22%. This is a big company growing 22% year over year. Like even small tech startups, Palantir can't grow that much. So how is the market not giving Meta a little bit of a premium? What's going on today? Let's start with Carlos, then Chris. Carlos, go ahead.
I feel like some of it was baked in. I was actually looking for some of their charts.
Okay, we'll do Chris while you're pulling it up. Chris, go ahead.
Just looking for the chart right now.
I think right now, man, I was thinking about this throughout the day today. You know, Google had really good earnings with the exception of just one cloud number. And by the way, one thing to explain, this expectation of 28% growth, that was set by analysts, not set by Google. So it wasn't like they didn't like hit their own guidance. This was just the Wall Street was expecting. And so everything else,
this is what we were talking about with Google yesterday. Google Google didn't beat shit. Google didn't hit some arbitrary number that you said that they should hit. They did what they could.
Yeah. So the thing is right now, there's just overall the market is just very unforgiving. And so even if you
why it happened in like how did the market become unforgiving in 3 days?
My guess would be that it has to do something with geopolitics, because there's no other angle that I can figure out that would see companies deteriorate like this fast in terms of like valuation. So someone actually mentioned something very interesting. They're like, the one thing we're seeing right now is the escalation in the Middle East. And so people are saying, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to get out of this market just in case that something does pop off. So it might be global instability rather than actual earnings. So, because I mean, you think about it, if you smash numbers, you would go up, but a lot of companies were down a lot today, like 5-6%. So, you know, I think it's probably more geopolitical instability. We right now as finance YouTubers, we're like so focused like on numbers and metrics that maybe if we just took those, you know, blinders off and we say, hey, wait a second, the world outside of finance is actually going to shit. Maybe we got a problem that, you know, could bleed into the markets next year.
Check out the chart. So this is Meta over a little over a year. And you say to yourself, oh my God, they've come down. So Meta, these are daily charts, right? So Meta's come down. What did they come down? 8-9%. But when you zoom out and you see where the company has come from, like from their bottom in 22, I mean, people are still doing fine. You're still
I would agree with this, Carlos.
You're still up 250%. You're still up. It's because
I would agree with this. The problem was the numbers today were so good. Like they were so damn good that it was, I think it goes to your point. Obviously the market's getting scared, but even if it's up, it deserves to be up higher.
But even with them doing well, the market is still in fear, extreme fear.
Yeah.
So it's this idea of like sell now, ask questions later, right? Like figure it out later, but just sell now, preserve the capital and deal with it later.
Well, one stat I want to say, Chris, before you go, their ad impressions went up 31%, meaning the supply of inventory they had to sell ads up 30% this quarter. The price of each ad only went down 6%. And this means the pricing power on the advertising is insane. They can sell 31% more ad space and not have to lower the cost of each of those ads because the ads are so valuable, advertisers are willing to pay. And that's because they increased daily active users 2.09 billion versus 2.07. Monthly active users still 3.05 billion. They increased their ARPU by 17 cents. I mean, these numbers are just incredible. But yeah, I think at a 36 PE, the market was like, no, we're not having it.
I mean, this might have something to do with it.
Yeah, that's definitely not. That's one of those ones.
Reality Labs lost more in the third quarter than GM made last year. Okay,
you want this stat? Zucks has lost 50 billion in the past 4 years,
and people said that Elon Musk buying Twitter was a distraction. It's a waste of money. It's going to tank Tesla stock because he's selling Tesla stock to buy Twitter. But I mean, Zuck is spending
look at this.
50
This is the
billion.
quote. This is the quote. Thank you, Calves, in the chat. So they're guided for it's going to be even worse in 2024.
Wait, so they guided for increasing losses. Increasing meaningfully
in 2024.
Okay.
Wow.
So then, I mean, there you have it. Coming into the third quarter, Meta's Reality Labs division has lost more than 21 billion since the start of last year. Meta debuted its Quest 3 VR headset in September, pitching it as a technically superior version of the older 2 device. The Quest 3 starts at $499, which is 200 more than the Quest 2.
Dude, if they didn't do this metaverse thing, they would have $50 billion
additional.
But this is
like you only spend this kind of money if you have internal metrics that show you that Meta without this will not be able to continue to grow, right? They're that they could.
But it's growing. So I get your logic is correct, but then the ads are growing, the users are growing, they're finding users somehow. Like maybe Zuck should have stayed like Google doesn't. Google's like, we sell ads. We're an ad company. That's it. We sell ads.
Yeah,
a little bit of cloud. Meta feels so afraid to just be a company that sell ads that they became a metaverse $50 billion headset company that is losing money by the billions every quarter. I don't know.
I don't know, like, who opened the Facebook account yesterday? Ask yourself. Like, who just got a Facebook account yesterday?
Some people in Indonesia, Philippines. You know,
I don't know, but I don't know. I'd want to know like what the breakdown is of the average age of a Facebook user, right? Because my speculation is that the average age of their user is getting older and older, and they're trying to get ahead of these people literally just getting off the platform or not engaging with it anymore. That they're not getting new users to come into the platform.
That could be a reason.
It's more like TikTok. So you have to say, okay, let's create a metaverse. Let's create some other new platform that we can get that younger generation to come in. And I think the idea was, well, young kids play video games. Let's get them in there, right? Let's become the platform where people go and play gaming. And VR is just like way better than standard gaming. So let's go do that. But you're losing, you've spent $50 billion. This is why when we talk about like, how it's going to eventually compete with Apple, Apple's products will be profitable from day one.
Let's do Facebook Apple in a second. Chris, do this chart, then we'll do Facebook Apple. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, the thing is, like, so Meta is actually doing well in terms of keeping their costs low. But yes, that was actually a good point that they were making, which is Meta is going back to investing a little bit more into the metaverse. And the reason they're doing that is because this is one of the things about Silicon Valley and a lot of major tech companies. You have to reinvest in the business and try new things. Otherwise, you will never end up becoming a big grower. So as an example, what if YouTube had never bought you? What if Google had never bought YouTube? What if Meta, which at the time was just Facebook, never bought WhatsApp or never bought Instagram? Where would they be today?
I thought about that.
I'm sure.
I thought about YouTube because I remember when YouTube first came out, they had no idea how to monetize it. The CEOs were still working out of their garage, and you'd be able to see like, ripped versions of like the Colbert Report or whatever the very next day for free. And it was just like this awesome place. There was like 500 videos that you could watch probably total. And they're like, we don't know what we're going to do with this, but we're going to buy it because we think it's the future. And remember, they had their own. They had Google Video.
Yep.
And they eventually started porting everybody over. And now I can't imagine a world without freaking YouTube. I mean, even what we're doing now.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with any company that really is trying to develop and take on bigger challenges that can make more sense to like have some future growth. As an example, if you look at like Google right now, right? Here's just a great example of 1 second. Let me just share this.
We got to talk about Google as well because Google dropped 10% today. And
yeah, I think it was so unjustified, but whatever. I mean, it happens. It's one of those.
Meta's now 288 after hours.
Yeah.
It's so the whole. I really just think it's the idea of like just sell now, and we'll figure it out later. And everyone's running out the door.
Yeah. So if you look at Google right now, look at Google since 2019, they were losing $1 billion plus, and then some quarters they were losing 1.7 billion, almost $2 billion a quarter, right? But the thing is, as your revenue grows and you scale that business, those operating expenses end up becoming something like, gradually flatlining, but the revenue that you get grows until you start actually generating more and more money, right? This is just how businesses work. So yeah, Zuckerberg right now is spending good money behind a bad thing that's not generating profits. So people may end up getting hampered.
But Chris, the question is it worth it? Is this metaverse even? I know Instagram and WhatsApp are worth it. Is the metaverse worth it? Is the question.
I'm sure that when you look at some of these acquisitions from backwards, right? They look like the most amazing things in the world. But when you initially see those price tags, they look like crap. And it's like, holy shit, you paid what for it? You did what? How much money did you spend on this one research and development thing? So this is just how business works. You know,
Wait, say that last part again. When you look back at what?
When you look back, you're like, wow, this was a great move. Like when Amazon first created AWS, everyone was like, what the hell? Why are you spending all this money on developing AWS? Like, you know, like the cloud computing. But that's what ended up becoming their biggest future revenue driver, right? Meta may end up happening with them with VR, where right now we think socially, like, hey, right now Instagram is great, Facebook is great. Why don't you just figure out how to monetize that more instead of going into this metaverse thing, which may not pan out?
But that is a good point, because eventually we're not going to be on Instagram. Like, there's going to be a time where humanity's like, we're not using Instagram, right?
Exactly.
But the question is it going to move on to a device? Like, are you really going to be? Am I really going to be in my house with this thing on my face? Like, is this how we're going to be doing shit? Like,
no, really? But that's the generation of product that you're looking at today, Carlos. God knows what it's going to look like 10 years from now. I mean, just look at this thing. This thing, back in the day when the phone first came out, right? Everyone was like, that is so stupid. No one's going to have one of these. But miniaturization, the technology improvements, now every single person on the planet has one of these in their pocket.
I think the difference, though, was if you just go back and watch the keynote, periodically I go back and watch the keynote where you introduced the iPhone. The immediate use case and the power and what you were how it was going to transform your life was very self-evident. I don't get that same feeling with
me either.
VR.
Me either.
I don't get that same
maybe
feeling.
It does take time.
It's very cool. It's very cool, but it still feels like a novelty. I think someone said that in the chat.
Dude, we're getting to that point of late stage capitalism where innovation might not be possible anymore, and so everyone needs a UBI. Like, this is where you get into a rabbit hole. But
No.
How much more better can this thing get, bro?
No. I don't think so. I think there's.
I don't think so either. But it's an interesting theory.
No, what happens is our threshold or our ability to project what the next level up will be gets diminished as we get older, and you run through a certain series of innovations. So it's like, I don't know, people in the 1890s were thinking, how do we genetically modify faster horses? And Henry Ford was like, no, we're just going to have this mechanical machine. It was like, no way. It's the idea of just fundamental. It's like, it's
but real quick, I guess I mean innovation in the context of consumer products. There's a ton of innovation in energy and transportation, but like, for consumers in modern day communication vehicles, I can't imagine something more perfect than this. Now, maybe it's the headset, and maybe I'm getting old and I can't see it.
Okay, but really think about it. Even the iPhone itself is an input device that's meant to interface with your visual cortex. That's what it's meant to do. So that's where it's eventually going. Contact lenses or glasses. We just don't have the technology to miniaturize it yet, or the energy technology to be able to power devices that are that small. But that's the goal.
Correct.
So the ultimate goal, if they could skip 10 generations, would be that you have an entire world around you that you just see in your field of view, and that you can control with just your gestures. So think about the devices that will get you as close to that as possible. That's what the headsets are.
But how would we sell ads in that world? That world's not possible.
What do you mean how will they sell you ads? What do you mean how they sell you ads? They'll pop up everywhere. There was very early on when the iPhone first started having the App Store, there was a version of like Yelp or even the Amex app, where if you were walking around with your camera, like as you were looking at the city streets, I'm telling you.
Imagine your chair telling you.
I already get that on my watch. What are you talking about? My watch is always telling me it's time to stand up. And I'm like, my deadlines don't give a fuck. Don't give a damn. Sorry, Jesse. I lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Okay, so anything else to say on Meta? Because then I want to move on to Bill Ackman. But any closing thoughts on? They are being sued by 42 states for like teenage girls getting depressed or something. That's what.
Well, this is something.
I knew Carlos would take the bait on that. He was like, "Oh, I got some."
No, it's not even. And actually, I don't get much Meta news because I just like ignore it and mute it. But I do feel that there was a time when Zuck was. I would say he was disproportionately hated. I don't think he deserved the amount of hate that he got. He was like the world's most hated billionaire at a certain point. And I do feel that they've been somewhat protected politically by some of the donations and the favoritism that they've showed to whatever administration is in power. That's part of how they're increasing their revenues, but also access to government security, that kind of thing. And so I think that that's another reason why the market cap has been able to increase as much as it has over the years. Because, hey, when you donate $400 million to the Democrats, they're going to, you're not going to be investigated. I mean, when's the last
How
time?
funny would it be if Meta hits $88 a share again?
Oh,
that would be the.
I don't know that that'll ever happen. I mean, but like,
I don't think it's happening.
You got to ask yourself, when's the last time he was in front of Congress? It's been a long time.
Been 5 years, 2018.
It's been a long time, right? And then he was like, you know what? I'm a multi-billionaire. Let's just give him some money, help him get elected, and they'll leave us alone.
That's fair. Okay, Chris, why is Bill Ackman not short bonds anymore? Can you explain this to us?
Yeah, I mean, he explained it very well in that there's global instability. So when there's global instability, there's likely less investing that people, when you feel optimistic about the future, you invest more. You put more capital to work because you think that tomorrow is going to be a better day. If you think tomorrow is not going to be a great day, what are you going to do? You're going to pull back on spending. You're going to hold more capital. You're going to, you're not going to spend as much. So if you don't spend as much, what ends up happening is now the secondary impacts from that come to light. You don't hire as many people. You don't give people enough raises. You basically don't invest in additional businesses. So right now, there's so many geopolitical risks, I think, and the economy just slowing down, I think we're headed to a massive, to some degree disinflationary, but maybe even deflationary markets coming at us in the next 6 months. So the worst thing you want to do from a risk to reward standpoint is be in a position where that typically gets smashed, right? So he's already done exceptionally well on his bond strategy where he actually shorted the long duration bonds. So he did really well on that. And he's like, look, the juices are, I already squeezed the juice from this fruit. I don't need to keep squeezing, because after a certain point of time, if you think about like a lemon, you squeeze the lemon, the more effort you apply doesn't mean more juice is going to come out. Right. So you're just taking on more risk right now. So right now he's like, you know what? I've squeezed enough juice out of this lemon. I'm good to go. Let it go. I see right now that, we're likely to see a deflationary scenario where the Fed is going to have to start cutting rates. And if he's cutting rates, bonds are going to end up taking a dramatic dive. They're going to appreciate. So that means their yields will go down. Right. Yep. So the Fed is likely, and this is his calculation, which is why he's probably in a lot of the companies he's in right now. So same thing with Bill Gross too. Bill Gross is the same thing. Sorry about that, Carlos. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to share this too, because, one thing that's not down today.
Yeah, I saw that.
One thing that's not down today, and this was another one of the major bear cases, that if Bitcoin's supposed to be a store of value, then it would be decoupled from markets, right? Well, one thing that didn't go
buying
down,
Bitcoin. Is it the top now? Is it the top?
No, at the top.
I'm just kidding.
But I'm just saying. But just today, how did we do today? How did just in today? This is a day when the markets were really bad, and we're up another 1.6 or 8% or 2%. But this is what you want to see. You want to start seeing a Bitcoin decoupling from markets as a whole, and people seeing that this is a place to protect your value. You would typically expect on a day like this to see Bitcoin also suffer, but it didn't. It actually went up another almost 2% at what is it, a $750 billion market cap. That's pretty impressive.
Do you think this is do you think this is fake, or you think it's actually performing correctly in this macro environment?
It's performing correctly for what it is supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be coupled to like my house doesn't go down in value because the stock market goes down.
That's my point. Bitcoin has always been coupled to growth stocks. So why do you think it's breaking out from?
Because I feel like the sentiment is finally getting in line with what the asset class was designed to be. And I don't mean to make this another Bitcoin episode, but that's what it is. I don't know if you guys saw what I tagged you in on X. Did you guys see that thing I tagged you on?
I've been out all day.
If we can take 5 seconds, I do want to, because this directly addresses what we were talking about yesterday. Hold on. And it was really well put. And I tagged you and Chris because he was able to articulate a lot of what I've been trying to say in a way that was just better.
They're saying you're a bad evangelist for Bitcoin since you can't convince Chris.
No, it's just sometimes there's someone that can just articulate it way better. Maybe if they're good at debate and they can put it in the form of a poem,
Yo, that Bitcoin bouncer poem was so funny, bro. Oh my god.
What does it say? Crypto is green, stocks are red. Sell your Palantir and buy Bitcoin instead.
Oh my god. I think you ratioed me on that. You ratioed me on that tweet.
That was pretty good. I mean, hey, you poked the bear.
Dude, Palantir is back at 15.29. It was chilling at 18 for a long time. Now it's
who was that? You or Chris that posted the Susie Orman being like, I hate when Palantir went up. Yeah. It's like, she's got it. So here, share this real quick. I do want to read this to you. I tagged you both in this. I was saying this is a
You gotta
great
zoom in.
Sorry. I was saying this is a great post explaining the speed of inflows into Bitcoin, translate how the speed of inflows translates into a massive stock price increase. Also, massive price increase. Also explains how BTC gets to over $1 million a coin while countering the arguments to buy options in companies holding Bitcoin. So I want to just read this.
You put that last line just for KRIS.
Just for KRIS. I tagged you. But the meat is here. Okay, I've been doing some math and my mind is officially blown. I don't think any of us are bullish enough on Bitcoin. Let's dive in. Monday's $3,000 BTC candle was a sign of what's to come. Several sources of demand converged onto Bitcoin in a short window of time and caused the price to break out to its highest level in 15 months. The known sources of estimated demand are the daily buying pressure of 25 million per day who soak up the daily issuance of new coins hitting the market. So you understand that every 10 minutes, new coins are issued onto the market, acting as deflation that are the rewards for the miners that are supporting the network.
Correct.
And he's saying $25 million per day comes in, which absorbs those coins as they come into the market, keeping the market cap stable. Market makers who were short futures and needed to own spot Bitcoin to remain delta neutral. They represented 250 million in shorts that were liquidated, aka got wrecked. 43 million in demand from the likes of BlackRock, Fidelity, and the gang seeding their spot ETFs. Altogether, this comes to 325 million of demand, which pushed the price up $3,000 per Bitcoin. The market cap of Bitcoin increased $63 billion from a few hundred million invested. The multiplier on that is 193x. That's more than a call option, KRIS. That's why I was bringing it up. That means that Bitcoin's market cap increases by $193 for every dollar invested in Bitcoin. I've never heard people talking about this multiplier effect, but it doesn't hit home until you run the numbers yourself. BlackRock estimated that $200 billion will flow into Bitcoin from BlackRock's iShares ETF, ticker IBTC, and others in the first 3 years. That amount of demand, if spread evenly over 3 years, would come to 183 million per day, excluding all other sources of demand. Multiply 183 by 193, and the Bitcoin market cap grows by $35 billion per day. In terms of price, that would be about $1,700 of price appreciation per day. After 3 years, BTC's price would be over $2 million from the spot ETF demand alone. The mind-boggling part is that I excluded everything else that would also be bullish. Daily buying pressure could be far greater from what will come from the ETFs. I haven't accounted for the halving, demand from sources other than ETFs, nor the nation or nation states that adopt Bitcoin, nor the FOMO from retail investors, nor the next class of Bitcoiners from all walks of life. Bitcoiners are known to be bullish, but most of us are nowhere near as bullish.
I mean, it's not bad analysis. Will it actually happen? I don't know, but it's not. I mean, it's logical.
He's like, yeah, but Palantir just got a $50 million contract, bro.
I mean,
it's fine. But anyway, people that have been following the channel, or at least me, as much as I tried not to make it about Bitcoin.
Do you think there's any level of, hey, that might not happen in what you just read?
No, I think it's just inevitable. I think it'll be some level of that. Yeah, I actually think it'll be some level of that. CNBC today did like a 15-minute segment on Bitcoin with Pomp, and it's like, it's the same sort of deal. Like when they say Tesla should advertise, well, if you got 15-minute segments, people talking about price cuts, that works better than really any advertisement if you're on the program versus the commercial break. It's the same sort of deal. Like there's just, it has reached a certain level of authenticity of it. It's now respected as an asset class, where before we had to argue whether it was even a worthy investment. Now it's like, is it worth an investment? Have we reached the top? We're not really arguing anymore for it. Like, should it exist? Is it a Ponzi scheme? I hear much less of that now.
That is a really good point, because if that authenticity permeates throughout the global investor sphere, yeah, like people are going to buy, and if they buy, it's going to go up.
For 2 years, I was saying to you, why doesn't Palantir's price move up if we're supposed to see this, number one, as an AI play, and number two, as a hedge against war, right? And we're starting to see that. Now, I don't think you're making that case anymore. Hey, Palantir is actually really helping us out when it comes to global conflict around the world. They are a partner on the side of good, right? Pushing freedom, and companies and countries that use them will have benefits that outweigh, that will help them have advantages over their opposition. We saw the conflict start to arise in Israel and Gaza, and guess what? Palantir did well. I wasn't happy about that, because you don't want to see anything bad happen in the world, but it's going to show that beating this narrative, this drum on this narrative for over a year, maybe it takes markets a year to get it in their head, but now they're starting to see it that way. Why do you think
any thoughts?
Why else is Palantir up today when everything else is down?
Yeah.
Palantir was up today?
No, he's just saying in general. He's saying today it wasn't up.
I was
Today.
like, yeah, I was like, no,
Today
Palantir
specifically,
was
but
down
you get what
today.
I'm saying? Like, why is it
Chris,
up?
do you think that
Why-
logic makes sense? That if $800 million or whatever a day is going into inflows, then it has to have buying pressure to go up?
I think right now there's just general fear in the market. Right now, you should be looking at things. This is my view for the next couple of years. I think we are headed into a deflationary scenario, which means that a lot of value-oriented companies that are heavily indebted are going to be the ones that you kind of want to be in, because as rates move downward, that means that your business prospects become better. So I think right now, I don't know if you guys saw this tweet by Bill Gross, but this is exactly the sentiment that I have. One second. Let me put it up right here. Can you see this?
No.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so Bill Gross, longtime fund manager at PIMCO, one of the probably the greatest investors. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him, but very curious what he brought up to regional bank update. Regional banks in many cases are at basically 1, 5, and 10-year lows, with price to book ratios trading at 60% plus discount to 60% plus minus, and yields at 7% plus. So as yields go down, what's going to end up happening is a lot of these companies are going to be repriced much higher and trading closer to book value. So
But
I think right now
interest rates have to come down.
Well,
Right?
you're saying
Yeah.
the bank. You're saying
Yeah.
the banks.
Yeah.
Right. So regional banks right now, they're trading under book value primarily because they have a ton of something called AOCI losses on their balance sheets. So those will recover, in which case we'll have a rally. But the point that I think he's trying to make, and I think that most people make, is that I think we're at the tail end of a hiking cycle, and that we're likely to see a recession, and the recession is probably Q4, Q1 of 2024, which means that after that, the Fed is going to have no choice but to start cutting rates, in which case now you're going to see a lot of assets get repriced, because as interest rates come down, that means that things that are negatively impacted by a higher rate environment are going to do the opposite.
So you think Bitcoin's going to go inverse when rates come down?
I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
So what does it have to do with Bitcoin? Any like the Bill Gross thing?
I don't necessarily think of anything about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin doesn't trade on fundamentals. To me, it doesn't make any sense. So I try to stay away from investing in Bitcoin as a like try to do some fundamental analysis to figure out when to invest in Bitcoin. I just think right now equities, especially if you're trying to do positioning, there's a lot of value-based equities that make more sense than being in a lot of growthier names that have been just growing double digits. So valuations right now are somewhat better in some of the other sectors. So I'd look there for investment opportunities. I do think, however, Google is actually a value stock, because if you look at their forward PE.
So to end the Bitcoin discussion, basically you're saying even though there's going to be a shit ton of inflow and that could raise up demand and that could take Bitcoin to like 2 million, that's not the point, because when rates come down, equities will do well, and you care more about that.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of what we're seeing right now is just fear porn, and I think people are maybe looking to Bitcoin for safety. Some of it is also the meme stockiness too, because some people, what happens is they see a giant green candle in Bitcoin and they can't help but chase the Bitcoin. So maybe that's what it is. But I don't know Bitcoin like that. Yeah,
but
sorry.
but at 700 billion, it doesn't move it. In Palantir, that would move it, because $50 billion retail can actually make it. Then you just can't.
No, but hold on, Carlos. We saw this. It went to 60,000. We saw it at these levels before.
We did, but that wasn't all.
It was very
retail.
memey around that time.
Yeah,
as well.
but that's not
Carlos,
all retail.
One thing about Bitcoin that I think Pomp actually brought it up today. I can't believe I watched that guy on CNBC. He brought it up.
You couldn't resist.
The thing is, most people have not been trading Bitcoin. Like if you're a holder of Bitcoin, you've been basically holding it. That means that there's a lot less of a market for Bitcoin, which means that if someone wanted to buy Bitcoin on the open market, there's a lot less people that are willing to sell it. Usually that's what causes prices to go up.
But that's what that tells you. Okay, 76% of all the Bitcoin, 76% of all the Bitcoin out there is being held for longer than 2 years. I mean, you get a lot of shit for holding a stock for only 3 months. I mean, imagine holding something, just literally holding it, and holding it when it ran up to 69,000, comes back down to 15.
Carlos, doesn't that prove Chris's point that it's going to dump once those people get some return that they're
because
looking for?
no, because if you were holding Bitcoin from 15,000, think about 2 years ago, $20,000, ran up to 70,000, you didn't sell. Then it drops back down to 15, you don't sell. Now it's back up to 35,000, you don't sell.
You sell. You fucking take your money.
People are holding. People are holding.
But,
I mean, this thing
but
shot
Carlos, that's what I'm trying to say.
in a day.
But that's what I'm.
nope, it's not
But that's what I'm trying to say. Your argument that, hey, there's all this inflows and yet it, like that's why it's moving. My thing is there's probably inflows coming into it, but the market, there's just very little people selling it.
I've never seen
it.
Hold on. I've never seen it be a bad thing that people hold it. It's the same thing. Like, listen, basically what you're talking about is like when companies buy back their stock, they're not going to sell that stock, right? So it's like, but they're buying it back and they're going to hold it. This is why you want to see companies doing buybacks. Because they're buying back their own stock. They're going to
I'm just
the shares off the open market. They're not going to be sold, and that's going to increase the value of your holdings because there's much less circulating supply. It's the same thing with Bitcoin.
No, what I'm
just
trying
shows
to
confidence. It shows confidence when people don't sell them. Now you do get
until they finally sell.
Yeah,
like Apple is not going to sell their stock because they know they have a growth story. Bitcoin, you might have people at 50,000 like, all right, fuck it, I made 10x my money. I'm selling, right? Unless they really hold to that $2 million that you're saying.
But I mean, most of the people that are holding it are not holding it. It doesn't pay a dividend. So most of the people, they're not holding it. It's not going to be a quarterly earnings. They're not going to come out with a new product. They're holding it for price targets.
My thing that I'm trying to just explain is that what you're saying from a volume perspective, right now you can see like, oh my God, look, all these inflows, especially if you look at it just based on the last month, there's a lot of inflows into Bitcoin, right? Which is why it ran up so much, right? But if you zoom out, you can see that that candle is actually not that big relatively to where it was back here in 2021. So there was a lot more transactions here. This just means that there's a lot less volume, but the price is just climbing really fast because the bid and ask. But
the difference is that those run-ups occurred. I wish we could show on that chart you're looking at when the halving events happen. So those peaks that you saw in what was that? That was March 2021, and then November of that year were right in line with the typical period after the Bitcoin halving event when the price actually runs up. If you just go back historically, actually, I'll pull this up for you. This is another fantastic chart that Jesse put out today. Here, once you see this,
let us know in the chat if you're holding Bitcoin. Put in the chat.
I almost tagged you in this because he actually, I'll show you the picture of it, and then he said you can actually go to TradingView and see the here it is.
I'm curious, Kieran, why you say good idea to sell ETH and buy Bitcoin? Like, what's the logic there?
Because because it's a currency, you have to understand that this is where you have to really understand that crypto is say the cryptocurrency as a whole. It has a combined market cap, and there's something that Bitcoiners track, which is the Bitcoin dominance, which is how much of the entire crypto market cap is Bitcoin versus the altcoins. And one of the things that they track is the dominance. How dominant is Bitcoin, right? And right now, usually you can get indicators as to what the price action is going to happen based on Bitcoin's dominance, and they'll track. There's different charts that track Bitcoin's dominance against Ethereum, Bitcoin's dominance against Cardano, and you can start to get ideas. And right now, he's probably saying to sell because right now Ethereum is at its strongest level historically against Bitcoin. So how many Ethereum does it take to buy a Bitcoin? That's basically what it is. If Ethereum's at say 2,000 and Bitcoin's at 20,000, then you need 10 Ethereum to buy a Bitcoin. So that's a 20 to 1 in terms of a dominance. I'm just using rough numbers. When it gets too far, when you need too many Ethereum to buy Bitcoin, then usually you'll start to see sell off in one asset to buy the other, right? So that it can flip. This is what whales do. This is how the whales move their money around to be able to amplify their gains. They switch them back and forth into different currencies, and you can track this. And people do look at the dominance in order to get an idea of where the market's going to go. Like, where are the big whales? Where are the whales going to start moving their money? Because they don't, they've got so much of the position that they can buy and sell in and out of these things. It's like changing currency between countries when the dollar is really strong against the euro, that kind of thing.
Okay, show us the Jesse start, then we'll end it on Google and
here.
We'll go from there. By the way, I am a whale. I'm the guy who has 3 billion on Robinhood. That's why I keep pumping.
You're that fucking weird.
That's why I keep pumping Hood. I'm like, dude, gotta do it.
Bitcoin's entire historical price action since inception. I've got a lot of metrics tied into this. So I'll just show you the picture real quick. But this is what you're looking at. So I don't know where this happened on your chart, but basically every 4 years, the incoming supply that is the reward to the miners gets cut in half. And this is why you see a massive increase in the price because it suddenly becomes half as deflationary. Does that make sense? Half is deflationary every 4 years. So you can see when the first halving event was, Bitcoin had a run up in price. The second halving event, there was another run up in price. We are now here. We're about to reach the next halving. We haven't reached the next halving. So you can calculate out. It is a logarithmic progression. So you can calculate out as to roughly where we should end up. Now, keep in mind, this is 12 or 14-year history. And he's saying my targets for this cycle are between $175,000 and $320,000. Jesse's a really smart guy. And he's been right about a lot of things. And he's beating the drum on Bitcoin right now. And he's estimating $170,000 to $320,000 for a Bitcoin. So now if you go to the trading view, you can actually open up the chart itself.
I do think, though, Carlos, you got to remember, when the numbers get that ridiculous, there's going to be people that take their profits. Like, even if it gets to 70 a coin somehow. People will sell. So there's gonna be sell side pressure, definitely.
But
when it comes
through. But in order for it, yes, but it has to. But that means that they're holding Bitcoin at that value. I mean, I've done the math at what my portfolio is worth if I've got Bitcoins are.
I'm just saying, if pound ran to $40 tomorrow, I think it would last for maybe a couple of days, and we would see a massive decline because people would take their profit.
Would you sell?
I would sell a little bit. Yeah, if it goes to $40 tomorrow, I'd sell all of it. If it goes to 40 tomorrow,
well, if it goes to 40 tomorrow, yes, you would probably sell a little bit, right? You might trim a little bit.
No, I'm selling the entire position if it goes to 40 tomorrow. There's no way you can justify going up 300% in a day.
But but the difference, this is where you get to the difference between a stock and Bitcoin specifically, right? The stock, you would say, well, I don't know what's going to happen. The next earnings call, something could happen. Bitcoin doesn't have that. No,
but that's irrelevant. The point is, if the price jumps that highly, let's say not even say a day, let's say in a couple of months,
what's
if it
the
goes
stock
to
price
70
right
grand,
now?
100
What's
grand,
the price right now?
34. Jesse says 175.
No, right? I'm saying, what's the stock price of Palantir right now?
15
bucks. 15 bucks. Okay, so imagine it ran to 90 overnight. I think most people would get rid of their Palantir. They'd be done. 90 bucks, right? Because it's such a massive jump. You're like,
why wouldn't it happen to Bitcoin? That's my question.
Because it would not get to $320,000 overnight. You're talking about over
forget 300,000. If it gets to 60,000 from 30, like
if it gets to 60,000, you will see sells. But there are people that still believe that the price it should be much, much higher and see that as a deal. Just like people buying Tesla stock right now.
But then the halving has nothing to do with it. Then it's just greater fool theory, and I don't say that in a negative way. But right, it's just. At that point,
but you could say that. Honestly, you could say that about any stock and any company at any time.
No, because if Palantir went to 90 because they got if Palantir went to 90 because they got a $17 billion contract, it's not just greater fool theory. There's like a reason for why the stock is up.
Okay, but
there's like a legit reason.
Who's to say how that contract will play out? Even if they get the contract, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be all ice cream cones and rainbows. There's still a lot of things in terms of the execution of that. People might say, I'm going to just sell out right now, right? So there's never any guarantee. You are expecting when you buy a stock today that it's going to be worth more in the future because someone's willing to be paying to pay you more. And you like to think that I'm early. This is the idea. When you're buying Palantir right now and you're not selling at $15 when it was once $5, $6, you're like, it's because I believe that this company is on a trajectory that they're going to be worth a lot more in the future. And there's a lot of people that aren't buying today. You don't want it to happen super fast. You want it to take its time.
But you guys are saying this $100,000 thing is happening in a year. That's why I'm saying that's pretty fast.
But
bro, if I'm a 25-year-old kid and I have 2 Bitcoin that I got at the Cryptomania when it was at, I don't know, 20,000 a coin in 2021, and now it's at 100,000, like that's like $200,000. Like I'm selling.
You know what it is though. But here's the difference: if you're a kid and you spent $20,000 on a Bitcoin, there's a certain amount of conviction that you have to even buy a full coin for $20,000. You're not just haphazardly buying that. It's not the same as buying 10 shares of Palantir and seeing where it goes, or even buying 100 shares of something and say, I'm going to leave it there for a little while. It's not the same. If you're buying $20,000 is the price of a car. Let's be honest. You can go get a car for that. And you're just throwing it into some asset on Coinbase.
That's fair.
They're just a different kind of buyers. But anyway, let's want to read some of the questions just in case somebody's...
let's do one question and we'll go Google. Let's do Andrew's question and we'll do Google to end it off.
If Bitcoin reaches
100 a coin, why would anyone use it as a currency?
Why would anyone use it as a currency? People probably wouldn't. And I wouldn't recommend doing that because there's all these guys. That guy who famously spent, I forgot what it was, 100 Bitcoin on a slice of pizza. back in the day, and now that piece is worth $110 million, whatever. Like, he's an idiot. So no, I wouldn't. But the point is, it doesn't need to be used as a currency in order for its use case to be there. It can absolutely just become the store of value that it's supposed to be. Like, you could technically buy stuff in gold, right? At a certain point before we got off the gold reserve, you could go to the bank and ask them to give you gold, but it doesn't mean that you need to use it that way. Fiat currency, the American dollar, is still a better thing for trade, but you can hold Bitcoin, convert it to, convert it or pull out the value that you want in dollars and use that as currency. I wouldn't be sending Bitcoin back and forth just because of the appreciation.
I don't think Bitcoin is an asset, a currency. I think it's a religion. And the more believers there are, the more valuable the religion becomes.
So it's so funny,
fair, bro. Every religion is trying to recruit people to convert.
But wouldn't you say that about the Palantir community? Wouldn't you say that about the SoFi community? Wouldn't you say that about Tesla? Tesla? I mean, Tesla's not a religion at this point.
Bro,
you just said Bitcoin literally can't even be used.
Tesla's not a religion at this point for some people. Not for me.
It is.
Tesla's a freaking religion for some people. Let the
Father Elon.
I'm not that guy. But I see some of these guys, and I can agree with you on certain points. But no, the guy's not perfect. The company's not perfect. The future's not guaranteed, but hey, it's a good company.
Listen, if Tesla is a religion, the leader of the religion is, of course, Elon Musk. He's like the God Emperor, like in Warhammer.
And Hallmark's catalog is like
it's like a pastor. Like Farzad is a pastor,
high priest,
bro.
High priest level.
Warren's up there. He's a pastor.
Warren's like he's a bishop. He's a bishop in it.
And their YouTube videos are the
Carlos is definitely like a huh? No,
dude, Carlos
YouTube is where they give their sermons.
Carlos missed fun time with his wife to defend Elon Musk on this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, but he's loyal to the religion.
Well, I just look. I don't care about being right. I care about being accurate. And a lot of times it just bothers me when I hear people saying things that aren't accurate, even if it means that I end up being wrong. Like when we arguing with Steve and Matt, I'm just looking for the accuracy. A lot of the times I feel like I'm on the right side of that. Like I'm the one that's being the most accurate. This is what frustrates me about KRIS sometimes. It's like your take on Bitcoin or Tesla or Enphase specifically is just not accurate. It's not even that I'm right. It's that it's not accurate. And you're like a really smart guy. And it frustrates me sometimes that I'm just like,
KRIS weasels his way to make it
try to make him
smart,
see but how else do I have to, how much clearer do I have to make this? Because I do believe that you're the kind of guy where if you present the information, he's going to go, oh yeah.
Dude, the pod that I missed when I was listening to the background, KRIS said, you can just buy a microinverter on Amazon. I literally started.
I was like, this is just crazy
He's
train,
gonna
man.
not let Carlos win anything, bro. He said, you can just buy it on Amazon. Why do you need Enphase microinverter? It's on here. And then Carlos was like,
I think that's
Carlos was like, no one's buying a fucking microinverter on Amazon.
But there was, there was a great comment under that YouTube video that someone said, which I think is the challenge for people that watch the podcast and people in the live chat. They were saying, I really agree with Carlos's thesis, but KRIS is in general not wrong about shit. So what do I do? And it's like, I don't know what to tell you, but in this
buy Palantir. Listen to the last guy on the panel.
Just don't buy either one, just buy Palantir. I'm just saying, in this particular case, when it comes to Enphase, I think I'm the most accurate. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying I'm the least wrong.
Dude, if you guys don't know to listen to KRIS, VITALY, or Carlos, just come to my market open and just listen to me be funny. That's all you're
right. He's gonna repackage everything we just said in with some bad jokes.
It's like, guys, I'm starting to think that the Bitcoin argument makes a lot of sense because there's this idea of authority that Bitcoin's getting. Because I just start taking Carlos's point. Go ahead, KRIS.
No, I'm just saying this looks freaking awesome, dude. Did you guys ever try this on Canva? Let me just show you. So I typed in a prompt on Canva to generate an AI image of Elon Musk as a Primark. Yeah, look at this. This is Elon Musk as a Primark from Warhammer. From Warhammer. Yeah. I mean, some of these look awesome, dude. Look at this.
Dude, Canva is the best photo editing product in the world. The problem is they raised around. Do you guys know their valuation?
No.
Do you know, or guess, how much do you think Canva's valued at?
700 billion, no, 10 billion.
Okay, do a realistic guess. What do you think?
Okay, $2 billion.
Okay, KRIS.
20 billion?
Canva's valued at $40 billion.
What?
Shit.
Those last investors are underwater.
Oh,
so
they're
that's
dead,
how bad 2021 got,
they're dead.
bro.
Yeah, they're dead.
Like, I love Canva. I pay for the pro thing. It's $12 a month. But $40 billion? Like, this is
Let me see if it'll recognize like sons, like the sons of Elon.
What is Adobe valued at? Adobe, dude, Adobe's market cap is 230. You cannot tell me Canva is 1/5 of Adobe, and Adobe is like Adobe.
Who
led that? I'm about to look
their
that.
money
Who led that round?
I mean,
Who
that
led
does
that
look
round?
pretty cool, but damn.
Adobe can
Primark
do that.
Elon looks.
I mean, at that valuation, Jay-Z's gonna buy and start hanging up some of this in his house.
Look at this. Look at this. You guys, this makes no sense. This is
So
insane.
what do you do? This is one of those like you just put a text prompt in there and say,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's AI.
All right, can you do it now live? Can you do one now live?
Yeah. What do you want me to put?
Okay, let's do one now live. The next three words. Give us a name. Give us a name, a color, and a scenario right there in the chat, and we'll just type that right into the thing.
Yeah, give us something. What do you guys want?
Somebody, give us a person. Give us a person that's famous.
It's got to be a famous person. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be like Carlos. Okay, Carp. Okay, we got Kaiser said.
No,
Carp.
they're not going to know Alex Carp.
Carp. You can say Alex Carp. You should know.
I think they'll know Alex Carp. Okay.
Alex
Yeah,
Carp, because Zuckerbutt's vampire beetle.
And Zuckerbutt. And what? What? And what?
Mark Zuckerberg as a vampire, I think is
drinking Beetlejuice mayonnaise.
Zuckerberg.
That's great. Somebody said mayonnaise because they know
vampires drinking
mayonnaise.
Mayo.
Drinking mayonnaise. All right, let's see what we got. And then we have to all make this our profile picture for a day on X.
Dude,
If this comes up with something hilarious, it's gonna be awesome.
So it's indexing Google right now for Zuckerberg and Carp pictures.
This is what $40 billion gets you.
Dude,
while we're waiting, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit.
Oh
like.
my god!
Oh damn!
That
is.
They got
Wow,
Carp wrong.
dude,
They got Zuckerberg right, but they got Carp kind of wrong.
Yeah.
It's basically two Zucks. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Bro, you gotta say said that to me. That is crazy.
They got Carp horrible. Carp is horrible, but Zucks is good.
What's the name of that site? What is that? What's the name of that?
Canva. It's Canva.
Oh, Canva. Is that the one that's it's like basically like
Melanie Perkins, Australian girl. She started at 2013.
Right.
Her story is great, but 40
So guys, if you haven't hit subscribe. We've got 56 likes on this. Come on, man. Let's
and
get
shout out, thank you everybody for
on.
joining every day. We're averaging almost 350 to 400 every night.
Thank you guys a lot. We want to 10x this channel. We want to Bitcoin this channel. We want to go 10x.
Dude, 10,000 subscribers or Bitcoin to 100,000. Which one?
Let's go. Let's see which happens first. No, we really do need to grow this channel. As much as we love doing this, the point is to really grow this channel, expand the conversations, and we just do this more.
Look at this.
So please share it, like it.
Insane, bro.
Subscribe
AI is just insane.
Look at this.
Absolutely insane.
Well, that's not really Alex Carp, so I can't really.
Well, did you write Alex Carp?
Yeah, I wrote Alex.
Yeah, bro,
Carp. So it probably doesn't.
He's not as indexable as Elon Musk. Like you need a really famous.
No, but when I wrote,
Yeah.
I said something like, I said, read Alex Carp's last shareholder letter and make it a poem or make it a song, and it wrote.
Yeah,
a
but
song.
that was ChatGPT. This is
But I'm
imaging
saying,
is harder.
so in other words, Carp is the info of who Carp is should be out there enough that this thing should get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have his curly hair. If it had his curly hair, I could believe it. But let me try this one. Something a little bit more general. So if you were in the Palantir Legion, this is what it would be. It would look like. Hold on.
Oh my
Replace
god.
Can you upload photos to it to use as reference? I can't take the photos.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know if you
I don't know if you can here. Yeah, you could do different styles too, of things.
Just
So
say, what would Alex Carp look like if his mom and dad were Indian?
Oh
I don't
my
think
God.
he knows. Hold on. Let's try Elon Musk, but if he was
Elon Musk,
born in India. Let's try that.
Okay, let's
see
do
if
this.
see if it like. Oh, dude, it would be so hilarious if it's something like
He's gonna have a
ridiculous.
turban and shit.
Yeah,
He's gonna be right.
racist
gonna have-
GPT.
Right.
Racist GP.
He's gonna have EV camels.
Oh my god.
Oh,
This is insane.
What are the other ones?
awesome.
What are the other ones? This is insane.
Look at that.
Yo, that's incredibly accurate.
This is the world we're living in with AI, bro.
Look at that.
He's wearing the kurta pajama. You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about?
Yes.
Look at that.
That's so hilarious, dude.
I don't know. I mean, I think that's the end of the podcast there, guys. I don't know what else we can do. How do you top that?
All right, so this is
I
the
don't
last one until Sunday. Are you guys excited for Vegas, man?
That's right. Well, we're not doing one tomorrow.
That's
Yeah,
right. We're
dude.
meeting each other for the first time in person. tomorrow.
Yep.
And well, let's talk offline, but we got to figure out how or if and when how we're going to do a podcast.
I think we'll do the pod on Sundays. No, yeah, but we got to figure it out. We'll
Sunday's not going to work because we're going to be out and about. But yo, really excited to see some of you guys for the first time and hang out with you. Crazy.
Are you guys ready to die of laughter when you see me in person? Given how funny I am in person versus over the internet, it's gonna be different.
We'll see. We'll see.
It's the jokes are gonna be even funnier.
Yeah. Except now you're
going
to be able to smack them, hit like and subscribe.
Oh my God. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining. This is going to be awesome. We'll have a bunch of Vegas content this week, even if it's not uploaded this week.
Yeah. So if you're not listening, if you are not following us on X, follow us on X because we're probably that's going to be the primary platform of communication.
Yep. And it's all in the
like
description.
stream some stuff. We'll have a bunch of pictures of our wild and crazy adventures, and we will have maybe we should do one on X on Sunday.
Yeah,
probably be easier.
It's gonna be fun, man. We were talking about it last night. We really appreciate the community we've built. Doing this daily, 5 days a week since March of 2023. So
we're gonna find out if Chris actually does have a left side to his face or not. I'm just waiting to know. If he's gonna turn his face, he's like Two-Face from Batman.
Look at this. This is interesting. Check this out. Look at one of the prompts that I put in, right, was Joe Biden and Trump arm wrestling. And it said Joe Biden, or Trump may result in content that does not meet our policies. Interesting.
Well, because you can use that to create fake shit for fake stuff that you can then put online, misinformation. It would be bad.
Wait, you're telling me that people would? Yeah, look at this. It's
right.
I guess with political figures,
that's what I'm saying because you can very quickly get a bunch of misinformation out there, and with elections on the line,
this is the type of stuff that might get regulated. Like there might be a law that literally says you can't do politics AI photos in the future,
Wow,
that honestly shouldn't have to be left to the companies themselves. This is part of what Musk is saying. We got to have AI regulation before you just unleash this on everybody. Deep fakes are getting crazy. Have you seen those have you been seeing on your feed, like, is this a deep fake or real? And it's like some of them you really can't tell, man.
Can't tell.
Like there was one that was an April Fool's joke. It was Peter Schiff talking about how he was wrong about Bitcoin. He hates Bitcoin. How he was wrong about it, and he was
that was fake. That was I saw that one. That was fake.
But it wasn't fake. No, I don't think it was fake. I think it was just an April Fool's joke.
Oh, so I thought it was fake when I saw it.
That's me too. I was like, that's got to be fake. But then you're looking at it and you're like, that looks really. If not, that's one of the best deep fakes ever. And then underneath, I saw that. Oh, it's actually an April Fool's joke, or it was the best deep fake I've ever seen. In which case, it's indistinguishable at this point.
I didn't know this, but they actually do videos on here too. I'm reloading a video right now of a Tesla branded, a flying car.
Commercial.
Tesla flying car.
That's what I was entirely in Midjourney.
Yeah, let's try it. Let's see. It's called Magic Media by Runway. Like the runway is the thing that powers this thing. It'll be ready in 1 to 2 minutes. Just give it 1 second. Grab your popcorn.
Hit like and subscribe. Well, we got 100.
Yeah, everyone hitting like and subscribe.
That's crazy. It's making a whole freaking video. That's insane.
Yeah, but they won't do. I think that one of the regulations on AI is that you can't use it. They won't allow it to like do video of human faces yet, from what I've heard. Like you can't just go create video of human. Think about the stock footage companies, right? Like the companies that do stock footage, like Getty Images. Like that's how fast an entire industry can just go away overnight, right? If you have AI, if AI powered through like Adobe Premiere or Final Cut or Avid, you could say, I just need a shot of the Egyptian pyramid at sunset.
Here we go.
Now I don't need to go fly a drone. I don't need to do anything. There you go.
Check
let's
this out.
Let's see it flying.
It's just as a quick video.
Tesla can make their ad right here on Canva.
It looks
there you go.
Pretty cool.
I mean, it looks nice, but it doesn't actually do what I asked. A Tesla flying car presentation. Oh, you know why? I probably put it as Tesla, like something is flying by.
Something flying by the car. Yeah. But the idea is like when we've had our conversation where I'm like, I think Uber might just go away one day if Tesla actually makes a robotaxi network. You're like, that could never happen. But like Getty Images could go away overnight if you no longer need, unless they're going to have an AI division where you could program what you want. You pay a certain tier to have a certain resolution and quality and length. But why would you ever need to buy stock footage again? When
you would never need to. They would get them paid from the licensing fees of using their stock footage to train the models. The problem is these companies are not paying for training, and ChatGPT is not paying anybody to train.
But if you're in Getty Images, if you're at Getty right now, or I don't know, I don't even know if they're public, or would you not be, guys?
Be scared out of your mind.
Meeting, be like, guys, we got to take our library, we got to train an AI that can make anything before someone else does it, and we're done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This just goes to show we're like very, very early in what AI can probably do. And where it could probably go. I'm loading one more video, but this one is like I did a different prompt. Hold on 1 second. Share screen.
Chiffon H is 508 is like in this fun part to the end of Finance Junkies. Excuse me, Chiffon, but I think the whole video, I think our whole live stream is fun.
Lizzo morphs into Kelly Rowland.
Actually, yes.
we didn't even talk. All right, Google.
Or turn Lizzo into Beyonce.
Chris, while this is loading, Google thoughts on it being down 10%.
It's all right. Loading opportunity, baby. Let's go. Long Google. Make money. Make money. I don't know what else to say.
By the way, Chris, there was like 17 people that came on CNBC today that were cheering the toot of Verizon. Like all these value investors were on CNBC today. They're like, Verizon, I told you, Verizon.
These people are watching Finance Junkies. I mean, that picture that you sent, apparently Jeremy was playing a video or reacting to the video.
Yeah, Jeremy was reacting to us on his Twitch stream, which was
Jeremy.
Okay, that was awesome.
There you go.
So this is, I just put flying car. So let me just set this as a background. Actually, I'll detach from background. I guess they're still working on it.
Yeah, this AI is shit.
Like a
$40 billion AI is absolute garbage, bro.
We can't do videos.
Paid $40 billion.
You see the potential there, though. All
right, guys, we got to end it. This was awesome. See you guys from Sunday. A lot of footage on the channel over the next couple of days, and on Twitter, you'll get all our Vegas updates. And we'll see you live from Vegas next time this weekend.
All right, bye.
Dude, the comment section is just violent, dude.
I know.
Elon Musk Lizzo's body.
All right, we're out. Have a good one. Bye, everybody.